Welcome back, everyone, to the Sunshine for the Soul community. So happy you decided to hang out with me today for a little bit. If you're new to Sunshine for the Soul, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Cindy. I'm a twin flame on the journey for about 1.5 years now. I'd like to invite you to join your energy with our soul tribe today to help it grow by subscribing, liking videos, or commenting on videos. Your personal input, these small steps, allow you to be part of encouraging and helping others along their spiritual awakening journey. As twin flames, we have all been on a wild, energetic ride, a roller coaster ride of ups and downs, revelations and transformation. And if you're on the twin flame journey, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So please take what only resonates for you in this reading and leave what doesn't. Let's see what messages the universe has for you today. And again, thank you so much for joining me. Welcome. I'm jumping on here tonight. I've been working on a reading. I didn't know where it was going to go. I'm only about 7 cards in, and I wanted to start recording and sharing this reading with you because it was pretty interesting what I had going on. So I started off this reading with pulling the Page of Swords in the reverse. And we know swords are about communication and thoughts. And this is Libra energy. And this is, the Page of Swords in the reverse is talking about doing something, then not going through with it. You know, thinking about it, maybe wanting to, but just not quite pushing yourself over the edge where you actually take the action to do it. And if you check out my Sagittarius video that is loaded for June, it is all about spirit guiding you and assisting you as you take action forward and you manifest your dreams. And this reading is kind of continuing right with that Sag reading. And if you go back, that's actually continuing with the Ophiuchus and the Libra readings. It just seems like I'm running one constant story here this week when I started your June readings. So the Page of Swords is, talk about doing something, then not going through with it. And the next card that I pulled was number 4, the Emperor. And we know that the Emperor is the divine masculine. He is confident. He is strategic when he needs to be. He doesn't question himself. He encompasses all the characteristics of all the other kings, and they consider him the rainmaker. What does that mean? He makes things happen. So right off the bat, I noticed in this reading that I had opposing energies. Kind of interesting. Talk about doing something, then not going through with it. And then the Emperor, he makes things happen. He takes action. So you kind of see the two opposing ideas here. So I said, okay, let's keep going with this. This is definitely an energy of indecision. It's going back and forth with whether or not to take action, as we said. And these seem to me be the opposing thoughts going on in someone's mind. And my guess is, seeing that he is the Emperor and yet he's having questions, is that this decision that this energy is trying to make probably will put him into that Emperor position. It seems like something very big that is trying to be decided here for this Emperor. He's a handsome guy right there too. So I wanted to dig a little deeper into this and ask the universe, what is this decision about that this divine masculine is going back and forth with? And I pulled the 10 of Swords. Again, communications and thoughts on the swords. But this is accepting a painful ending and a devastating loss. All right? So this decision is about, am I going to accept a situation as it is, dead in the water, look at it as a painful ending, chuck it up to a loss, lick my wounds, pull myself up and move forward? Or the next card I pulled is number 19, the Sun. And the Sun is harmony, joy, illumination. And this is stepping forward into the light and manifesting your dreams. So once again, I've got opposing thoughts here. Accepting a painful ending and a devastating loss, or stepping forward into the light and manifesting your dreams. This is again opposing thoughts of someone. Do I go? Do I stay? Do I hold on? Or do I fold them? Little Kenny Rogers. You gotta know when to hold them. Know when to... Okay, I'm not gonna sing. Do we bring this back to life? Or do we grieve the death of it and move on. And it seems to me like this Emperor energy, or would-be Emperor energy, is trying to make some decisions, and this seems to be, inside his mind, going back and forth. This is the energy of a person who, in their mind, is trying to decide how their future is going to go. And as you make a decision, you really have to be in touch with what your heart desires. Where is your heart leading you? And this Emperor is trying to decide, what do I want to manifest? What reality do I want to create? Do I bring something back to life, or do I let it die? So I asked the universe, what's holding this character back from taking action? What is this main blockage that's causing this person to sit in the analysis paralysis kind of paradigm and not actually pushing themselves to take action? And the card I pulled was the Ace of Cups in the reverse. So this is not the right time for union, needing a little me time. So this character's kind of going back and forth with, do I go forward, or do I take a breather here and, get my sea legs back and, just take some time to be me now that I'm healed and I'm feeling good, but I've got this looming decision over my head. And the next card just reinforced once again these opposing forces of the Temperance in the reverse, and that is reconciling or coming into balance. So you see this person going, do I take some me time and postpone union, or do I reconcile and bring everything into balance? So this energy is very conflicted about whether it's the right time to take this action. So, I wanted to ask the universe, when would be the right time for this Emperor, this Rainmaker, to make things happen? To not give up, to step into the light, when is the right time to take action? And I pulled the Eight of Wands. I went through the whole deck, and one card popped out upright, and that is fast energy. That's incoming movement, growth, communication. And this is the universe says that the time is right now. It's not in the past. It's not in the future. If your heart is telling you to do something, you do it. You listen. You don't dawdle. And this is saying, immediately communicate your passions and desires. It's time for you to take swift movement. You won't know if you don't try. The universe doesn't want us to sit in stagnant, indecisive energy. And this universe is bluntly stating, I got one card, Eight of Wands. When is the right time? And this is saying now. It's right now. If you don't want to give up on this, if you don't want to continue to sit in your head and go back and forth for the rest of your life until you're an older person about what you should have done in this huge decision that it looks like this Emperor is trying to make, back and forth. Do you ever ask yourself, if it wasn't meant for you, why would the universe allow these thoughts to continue? Why would that be the leading thing in your head? When something talks to you repetitively and you're spinning it over and over and over and over, that is the universe teaching you to identify your intuition. All right. If it's not the right thing for you, it won't stick with you. It'll leave. But when something sticks with you, and it's kind of relentless, like with synchronicities, when the universe is trying to get me to make a move about something, good golly, it goes crazy. I'll see 20, 30 of them a day. And I'll tell you a little story. A couple months back, I felt very, very led to let's just say be somewhere where there was a possibility my twin flame could be. I didn't know for sure. There was no guarantees that this person was going to be where I was going to be, but I said to the universe, if you really want me to take this move, which is a very bold move in a twin flame connection, to actually go somewhere where you're intentionally going to be in the energy of this twin who maybe you haven't talked to for a year, the universe had to be very direct with me. It started with a little hint and a little jab, and then a couple weeks went by, and then a friend asked me to do something, and it was the same thing I was considering doing, but then I chickened out, and then it just went on, and it kept egging at me. And I said to the universe, are you really want me to take this physical step in the 3D and put myself where my twin flame is going to be? And it was relentless with the synchronicities I saw. So I started making plans to kind of be in the area. And when I mentioned to my mother what I was planning to do, she later on had mentioned it to my father. No, I wasn't dead set on these plans yet. I wasn't 100% sure. Go see this person and be in a public place where I knew he was or he could be. But after I had mentioned that to my mother, and she had mentioned it to my father, and he had mentioned it to my uncle, there was this whole long line of like, oh, we want to go. Oh, that person's going to be there. Oh, we want to go. So even though I was in that, I'm not sure if I want to do this stage, because I had kind of opened up the floodgates and I had mentioned it and kind of let it hang out there, thinking if you really want me to go, well then make this happen, because I'm not going to do it unless you make it very blunt and obvious. And as it goes on, because I had additional family members wanting to go, it committed me to going there for the weekend. It committed me to showing up where I knew this person was going to be. And my whole entire ride there, I saw nothing but synchronicities. I was riding the parkway, and it was 222, Route 777, Route 717. I just was bombarded with synchronicities and song synchronicities. And I just felt like, well, if I'm doing the wrong thing, why is everything pushing me in that direction? So we're talking about this emperor trying to make a decision, and I want to share that on my vision board on my wall. It says, conscious choices that are in line with your greatest and highest good will be backed by synchronicities every step of the way. So if you're on the twin flame journey and you're wondering whether or not you should take steps, don't do them, when you're emotionally in a raw position. Don't do them when you got any kind of buzz going. Definitely don't do that. When you're clean and sober and you're sitting with yourself and you're thinking, I have this intuition that I should do something, ask the universe to show you signs to lead you into that area if that's really what the universe wants you to do. And I tested the universe. I tested the universe for 6 weeks. It had almost got me there one other time, and then I backed out, and it was just this constant nagging in my energy that this is something I was supposed to do. So I did it. So back to this emperor here, you've got to ask yourself, why is this continuing? Why is this in my energy if it's not something that I'm not supposed to take a look at? And if this emperor is like trying to make a decision on whether or not they're going to bring something back to life, perhaps, you really have to get in touch with your intuition and be able to tap into what the universe is saying. And it feels kind of strange and raw for us to do that, because we've not been taught how to do that. As we spiritual awaken, these energies, let's say, we have to learn how to use them. We function in a whole different way. Again, we thought we were a human having a spiritual experience, and instead we're a spiritual energetic being having a human experience. And that really changes things when it comes into terms with our connection with the universe and listening to our intuition. So if you're trying to make a decision with your mind logically, I was going, oh hell no, there's no way I'm doing something like that over my dead body. Am I going to drive an hour away and show up at an event where I know my twin flame is? No way. That's Cindy. Cindy's not always been right, and Cindy's got a big old chunk of ego that she had to have taken down a couple notches as she learns how to listen to her intuition and be more in line with her life purpose and with the universe. And in that case, I knew it was the right thing for me to do. I knew it. And the universe is saying, listen with your heart. Learn to listen to your intuition. It is your most valuable tool as a spiritual energetic being, because it is your connection with source. It's connection to your spirit guides. It's a connection to consciousness. So the universe is saying, now it's time. Take action. It's a do or die. It's go time. Either you act or this opportunity is going to pass you by. Because we know that the universe doesn't give a forever window, because it's not good for anybody to sit in stagnant energy. So if you're a soul and you're down here having an energetic, experience, you're here to choose exactly what you want to create, what experience you want to have. Indecisiveness is nothing more than putting yourself in a self-imposed prison created by your own ego using fear. So that fear is what keeps you in that opposing energies, like we saw in this reading. This, or I can choose that. And indecisiveness, analysis paralysis. I have a reading early on a couple months ago that's about twin flame overanalyzing and being stuck in analysis paralysis. Go check that out. That's a very good one about how to get past your fears. But in this case, all right, if you're allowing fear and ego to dictate what your moves are, even though you're the creator and you're supposed to choose, you're allowing that little voice in your head, not the one that brings you peace, but the one that puts you in a state of fear. You know how you could tell which energy is coming from? You know, you got the little angel on one side and the little devil, and you go, well, how do I know this voice that's telling me to do this or that? How do I know where it's coming from? How it makes you feel, all right? If your thoughts are to do something and take an action, and you are sitting in this fearful state, which is low energy, that is not what the universe wants for you. The universe is saying whatever you're fearful of, whatever truth you think is going to happen when you take this action, this is saying that this fear is not true. That is of the ego. That's not the universe telling you that, oh yes, do this, but then, be fearful of it, or it's going to be a catastrophic event. Like, the universe isn't telling you intuitively to move in a direction only to set you up for disaster. So you look at your emotions. If you make the decision and you say, I'm going to take this action and I'm going to go in and I'm going to revive this connection, and you feel good and you feel empowered and you feel strengthened, and you say, no matter what the outcome is, I'm making this move. I'm doing it for myself, because the other alternative is, can I live with the consequence of not making a move, not taking an action? So I want to ask the universe, we got to know where the fear comes from. We can't heal it unless we know where it comes from, and they come from that abandonment, rejection, low self-worth, wounding. They're there to rear up and show their ugly heads all the time. And I've got the Santa Muerte deck. I'm going to change it up and use a different deck going into this part of the reading. And we want to help this character out, and we want to find out what is the fear causing this indecisiveness. Because once you can identify your fear and you could track it back to when that first started, then you can heal that. But you got to know where it comes from. All right, got some good shuffling there. So we're going to ask the universe, what is this Emperor energy fearful of? What's the clunker? I'm just going to let him fall. Whatever falls, falls. What is stopping this character? All right, here. So I've got the Three of Swords in the reverse and the Two of Wands. The Three of Swords is Libra energy. Again, swords are about communications and thoughts. We've had a lot of swords in this reading. So this is, because it's in the reverse, upright is heartache, loss, a painful separation. It's kind of the same in reverse. It's not accepting a loss, a needing to heal, being stuck in your grief. This is time to let go of pain and move past sadness. It can indicate forgiveness and letting go of past hurts. So when we asked what was the fear that this character had, what was holding him back, it looks to me like they just don't want to have their heart broken again, that they're so afraid of having another loss, needing to start the process and healing all over again. And that's a very valid fear, in the sense that, we don't want to repeat things. We want to make sure that we're healed enough. But again, this really goes back to, knowing ourselves and knowing that we're healed, and not putting that expectation that we're going to make the same mistakes that we've made in the past. So as we look at this, card, you see that there's one skeleton bent over, kind of in submission, kind of giving up, while the skeleton above them with the spade on their head is, putting swords in their back. And that's all about, just having that heartbreak dealt out and just not being able to deal with it anymore. So I really think with this card, this character is fearing having any additional heartbreaks or pain, or fearing that their life is going to get discombobulated. And the last card I drew was the Two of Wands. And you guys, that's really twin flame energy here. That is a choice, a fork in the road. That is a crossroads choice. That is at a point in your life where you're deciding, am I going to follow my passions and my desires? Am I going to put this pain and this fear of having my heart broken again behind me? Or am I going to still sit in that energy of fear? And as we see in this reading, this character has just sat in this energy of going back and forth, deliberating. It seems to me like this is a battle. This is the mind and the ego, pushing that fear, and then it's the heart opening up and wanting to manifest the Emperor's desires. So just you see that conflict going back and forth in this reading. It also seems to me that this character is fearful of choosing wrong. Again, going back to the having the heart broken again. If they were to choose to go forward and take this action towards a connection, possibly a twin flame, and then not have it work out, could they deal with the heartbreak again? I think that's really what this character is looking at. Fearful of the heartbreak and fearful of choosing wrong, because that could lead to the heartbreak. But again, this character needs to sit back and understand that when the universe is directing you and guiding you somewhere, it is protecting you. It is in that unconditional love. And if you step out in faith and you let go of those fears and you get out of that low energy, that very low vibe energy, then, honestly, I don't know that this character could ever live with themselves. That would be a hard pill to swallow, to say, I didn't make a move because I was in fear. That's looking at what could go wrong, that it could fail, and that I could have my heart broken again. That's not looking at all the wonderful, beautiful things that could go right. It's again that concept of looking at the glass half full or half empty. Are you going to be a pessimist? Or are you going to be an optimist? Are you going to look at the bright side? Are you going to have faith? Are you going to say, if the universe has led me all this way, all on this twin flame journey, now we're getting to this precipice where I'm going to have to make a choice of whether or not to come into this divine feminine's life. And I've learned all this and I've gone through all this healing. Do you really think that the universe does not have your back? Do you really think after this there's anything that you possibly could not handle? That you have learned lessons and you know that you are responsible for creating your universe. You're the creator. So if you're going to go into this and you're going to sit in fear and it's going to stop you from going forward and manifesting your heart's desires, well, then I think the universe would be very sad, because you're here to learn lessons and you're here to push past those fears, to rise above them and put your faith in the universe that, okay, I've had a spiritual awakening. I'm starting to understand my intuition. My intuition is telling me to do something. This is your test. This is this emperor's spiritual level up. I called him a would-be emperor for most of this reading, because this is a major test for this emperor to be able to spiritually level up and come into a higher state of consciousness where he can receive that unconditional love. The universe is offering it to this person. It's saying, here it is, but are you going to take this step? Are you going to have faith in you as a spiritual, energetic being, as a creator of your own reality? Are you going to have faith that this desire, this love that you want to pursue isn't going to be exactly what you ever dreamed it would be? It's up to you. We choose. And that mentality is an energy frequency, and that energy frequency is what we create. It can be low or it can be high. It can be negative or it can be positive. It can be fearful or it can step out in faith. And I hope if you enjoyed this reading today, that you got some kind of message out of it, something resonated with you. Please hit that like, share, subscribe button. As you put your radiant energy towards this community and it builds, we're able to share more of these lessons and more of finding our way in this new world of being a spiritual, energetic being and learning how to direct our lives in a more spiritual and intuitive way. We'll see you at the next reading. Peace.